Let's get into it.
What's up, everybody? This is SMH Podcast. I am your host, Shania. We're back with another episode, so clap it up for yourselves. Thank you guys for joining me for another episode. I'm so sorry it took me a long time between, episodes. I'm a busy girl. Got a lot going on, but I love you guys, so I appreciate you guys. Please like, subscribe the video. We are on YouTube. I'm gonna get into my socials. I am on Instagram. It's SMH Podcast 96. And you can find me on Twitter, SMH Podcast 1. That's the app for Twitter, SMH Podcast 1. And you can also find me on TikTok. My name for it is SMH Pod _ photography 96. But we're going to get into the episode, and I just appreciate you guys for joining me. Like, subscribe, like I said, comment the video, all that. We're on all streaming platforms. So what I came to talk to you guys about is generational trauma. Generational trauma and curses, because it's a real thing. And if you don't really know what it is, it's okay. We're going to get into the episode and we're going to go over it. But first, we got to get into our first segment, and that is called What's for Tea?
So this tea time, I am drinking Twisted Tea, the raspberry flavor. Twisted Teas have a lot of different flavors like peach and all that. Really good, 5% alcohol. No, Twisted Tea is not a sponsor of this video. I just really like their teas, and we didn't have any hot water, so we had to drink some, type of tea. And why not get a little buzz while the episode's going? So yeah, this is Twisted Tea.
And I got my teacup right here. So what's for tea? We're having a little special tea today. What's for tea today? We just want to go over a couple of things you probably didn't know, things you're probably not aware of. So we're going to get into that episode. So the first thing, this really isn't what's for tea. Honestly, this isn't really tea worthy. But I do want to give my condolences to Regina King. Her son recently committed suicide and passed away. And I just think it's really sad. He was 26. And for a lot of people who aren't used to or haven't been who haven't gone through that experience, it's very hard on the people around them, because it's hard to understand that somebody felt like they weren't worthy enough or able to reach out to somebody to where they felt like, everything, I'm done with everything and I just gotta go. So that is really hard. I had a cousin who committed suicide as well. So it touched home for me, because it's like, we really don't know what people are really going through their day-to-day lives. Like, yeah, people could put up a front, make it seem like they're happy or not, just not really going through much or downplaying what they're really going through. But some people on a mental and emotional side, they're probably really suffering. So I wanted to bring this up, because if you know anybody, or if you yourself are going through a depressive state, and you just don't know where to turn, or you're just trapped, you feel like you can't talk to the people around you, I encourage you to go onto the suicide prevention hotline and check out some of the stuff that they have. Talk to some of the people, because maybe sometimes talking to somebody that you're not normally used to talk to is easier, because I know a lot of us feel like we kind of are judged. So if you are feeling that way, please go on their website, check out some of the stuff they have. Their phone number is 800-273-8255. I'm going to leave links in the comment sections and all that. So please reach out if you're going through anything, if you're just not, if you feel, especially, I know with the pandemic and all that, all of us have been going through a lot, been suffering a lot. So if you really need somebody to talk to, I suggest you reach out to random people first before you think about, anything of that magnitude. So next up for tea, it's tax season, y'all. I know I'm excited for tax season. I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited for tax season. The government's been doing so good, so let's hopefully they don't stop. Anyway, it's tax season. I know for a couple of y'all waiting on your W-2s. I'm still waiting on mine too. Trust me, it's gonna be a minute, because the mail is running slow. But at the end of the day, there's going to be some delays in the IRS anyway, and they're saying that because of the overloads that the IRS is now seeing and expecting for the tax season, they are saying that people are going to have delays in getting their refunds back. And by the way, it opens up this Monday, tomorrow. Tomorrow, y'all. This episode's going to be going to be late posting, but it has already opened up this Monday, so you can go and if you got your W-2s, file your taxes. But at the same time, there's going to be overload, so there's going to be a lot of wait times for getting our refunds back. But maybe we should take some tips from Donald Trump, because the New York Attorney General has said she has significant evidence that says that Trump and his organization has been lying and falsely saying that his assets have more value than it should in order to get tax breaks and loans. Which is probably why he stays rich. At the end of the day, it's illegal and it's bad what he's doing, because you're not supposed to do that. Like, you have somebody, like, if I was somebody who made as much as Donald Trump, I would get mad because I'm getting taxed more than he is, and he's Donald Trump and he can do what he wants, and that's why he's a smart businessman, because he knows how to save his money. He knows how to get a break any way he can. But I just think it's wrong that he's able, if she got evidence on it, the case is pending, it's an investigation and all that. I hope she does. I don't know where she got it from, but I hope she does. So if you got it, sis, expose him, because shoot, taxes is a lot. I don't like paying my taxes at all. If I could avoid them, I would, but I can't. So the fact that he rich and he doing it, it's like, teach me your ways. I'm joking, y'all. I'm joking. Anyway, moving on. Next up for tea. Well, Florida has just passed a bill that says that it is stop the discomfort and guilt when speaking about race. So what that means is that if you in your past, say for instance, got on social media and you said something that was distasteful in your way to another race, then pretty much they're pretty much putting it on businesses that, you can't be guilty, or you can't be like discriminated. That was the term they used. You can't be discriminated against for using for your past about if it comes to a matter like race. Now I get that, because there's a lot of times where people nowadays, when you're out and about and you catch like a white person saying some racist shit, they're pretty much blackballed. And not just society, but in real life too. Like, people don't want to fuck with them. Business don't want to have nothing to do with them. They lose their jobs. They can't join their clubs. They can't, all that shit. They get blackballed in society and in real life or whatever. So I get that. So when you do that, it's kind of like this person messed up and we're kind of not giving them a chance to have a second chance or to own up to and make more mistakes, pretty much, because people should be able to make mistakes. And that's another thing, because we're a democracy, and that's one of our things in our amendments, that people have freedom of speech. People should be able to, express their opinions and not be ridiculed and backlashed about it and all that because of what they say. Pretty much the whole Dave Chappelle situation. Like, if this whole thing were to go on, like canceling Dave Chappelle, like, how much influence Dave Chappelle has had on comedy, you're going to say that that's not worth more than maybe a few jokes he said that just bothered a few people. Because it's like, and I feel like the whole, when Netflix's CEO, when it came out that his wife was a black woman, I felt like a lot of the media on the whole Dave Chappelle is transphobic died down, because at the end of the day, people don't want to ridicule somebody that they already know has been ridiculed, pretty much. Like, nobody wants to like tell that the owners of CEO were racist or transphobic when they're an interracial couple who's probably been through a lot of shit because they're an interracial high power couple. So at the same time, you would want to think that what am I trying to say? Like, at the same time, you would just think that people will understand that you just can't cancel a whole person's career and neglect all the things that they have done just because of one thing that was discomforting to them. Now, I will say they will get some pushback because in a business aspect, I think it's kind of messed up for you to tell me how to run my business. Because if I have a business and I'm doing business with somebody, because we all know that businesses use influencers, Instagram influencers, rappers, artists, actors, and all that to pretty much push their brand to get more people. Because if they trust them and use our products, they're pretty much going to trust us. So they use that to their advantage. They use pretty much like clout chasing. Like, we're going to use these people to get more business, and it's going to be a dance. We pay them to promote us, and it works in both ways. They get paid, we get paid, and the consumer is happy because they know that this is a legit thing, and the person that they use for it is like all that. You have some bad people who pretty much take advantage of that, but at the end of the day, that's what it's being used for. So for me, when you're a business owner and you're like, well, I have a business and I have a brand and I have this person saying some stuff that I not necessarily like, as a business owner and as a brand owner, if I'm against discrimination and I hear somebody being discriminative towards another group of people, I'm going to feel bad, because at the end of the day, I'm endorsing this person to put out my brand. So when people like protesters and like people who want to try to put their voice out, like, hey, this person's wrong, they need to own up for their mistakes, like, it sheds a light on who are these people, like, pretty much getting paid from. Like, oh, well, you support that person. Well, you're backing that person, and your whole principle, like, people put out policies for their brands, for their businesses. This is being a business owner. You have a policy, and you're like, discrimination is not something that we take lightly or something that we want. So if you're saying that, hey, I don't want to do business with this person. As a business owner, if I don't want to do business with this person because of, yes, something that I thought was distasteful, and the backlash they're getting, not just from what people are saying, but in the media. Like, the media is making it a circus, and now my name is attached to this person. It's also going to be a circus, because it's like, I'm going to have people who are going to refuse to want to buy from me and want to take from me because at the end of the day, I'm being told that because at the end of the day, I'm getting refused service, refused customers. I'm getting people who are boycotting me because they think I'm backing this person who has these ideas, when it's like, that's them. They can have that idea, but I don't share those ideas as a brand and as a person. So I should be able to say, you know what, I don't want to do business with this person anymore. So I feel like they might get some some pushback from business owners and shit like that, because we should be able, as a business, to run our business the way we see fit, as long as it's not hurting anybody, as long as it's like a mutual agreement and all that. I should be able to mutually say, hey, I just don't like the attention you're getting, and I think it's bad for my brand, so I think I'm going to separate so that both parties are good at the end. You can do what you need to do, I'm gonna do what I gotta do, and that's just it. So in a business aspect, I just see that as a bad. That was a long one, y'all. Yeah, I went on a rant there, but I just had to get it out because I just thought about it, and I was just like, I see their point in it. Like, nobody should be able to be blackballed for the things that they say, especially if it was in the past. Like, I mean, Kevin Hart turned down the Grammys because of people bringing up comments that he already apologized for, but because they wouldn't let it go, they just kept wanting an apology. He's like, you know what, I just rather not do it. And that was a business choice he decided to do. Ooh, I'm sorry, I'm spilling. You get passionate when you talk with your hands. You speaking passionately, You speaking anyway. Moving on. Next up for tea. That was me telling myself to move on. Next up for tea. Did y'all know that Walmart is creating a cryptocurrency. Interesting. I just think it's really interesting because I understand why they're really trying to push this whole idea of living in a digital world. Like, I get it. Cryptocurrency is becoming a new wave and all that. I've been trying to understand NFTs. I've been trying to understand cryptocurrency and all that. And I understand it's a new form of currency, new form of money, and people are making a lot of money off of it and whatnot. But also, it's like gambling. But at the same time, I just don't understand what this push for being in this digital metaverse world is going. Like, really don't understand why we're being pushed like that. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, a couple of years ago, there was this movie called Ready Player One. It was a really good movie. I really like it. You can still go and watch it. It's a really good movie, and pretty much the movie was depicting how these people, it's like these people in this town, or pretty much how the world is right now. Everybody is into a VR game, and have you guys not noticed everybody's been getting VR games and little things, because Facebook is about to do the whole metaverse thing, so their VR is very popular right now. So stay with me. So the movie pretty much it's saying like there's a game, and if you beat the game, you're able to get a prize at the end, and the prize is like riches, fortune, fame, all of that, like your worldly desires and all that. So if you win the game, so essentially everybody, young, old, no matter what, is playing this game. So you have people who created corporations and teams and all that to play the game together, to try to beat it together, to try to like pretty much crack the code. So everybody's playing this game, everybody's in this verse, but mind you, this is a digital world. Everything looks amazing. Everybody got their own characters. They can look how they want, act how they want, seem how long. You could be a whole different person than you are in real life in this thing. So the main character, pretty much, he was putting up this front towards this girl, and when he met her in real life, they realized like they're not their characters, they're regular people and all that. So side point. That was a side point. But anyway, so I'm just trying to get y'all to understand how, they were so infatuated in this game. Like the game was like their second life to their real life, because in real life they had literally there were people who had in their houses like whole VR machines where you can run, jump, and all that into place with the whole, gear on, and you get tired and all that. Some people were sleeping with the stuff on. So people were really into the game, and they had all this stuff in real life. And so I think it's bad, because I feel like we're not understanding how much this is distracting us from our real life. Like, do you understand that we can't all live in a digital world and still try to live in a real world at the same time? Like, think about it like this. Like, when I worked in a hotel during COVID, it was hard to give the service people were expecting pre-COVID during COVID. Like, it was really hard. We didn't have that many workers, housekeepers, supplies, and all that. So it was really hard to give people the type of thing that they were used to, the type of service they were used to. And that's still going on right now. Like, you go to a restaurant, sometimes it takes longer times now to get your food. There's longer lines at fast food restaurants, low stock, low supply, and you go out now, the place is dirtier than before. And it's like, if everybody think about it, I don't know, like they said back in September, like back in August, there's been a whole thing where there's been a decline. There's been a whole thing of people quitting their jobs. There's been a spike in people quitting their jobs than normal. So people aren't really working, and if you don't have people doing the services and the jobs that you were used to, then you're gonna have pretty much the things that we get. You pretty much get what you can take. pretty much. And that was pretty much how I was trying to explain to people, like, we just don't have these things, and I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but I'm doing the best I can. I just work the front desk. Like, I don't control housekeeping. I don't know what's going on with maintenance. I can't tell you how to, like, all I can do is apologize and get an explanation from somebody else, and then explain it to you, and then we gotta move on at this point, though, because there's nothing more that I can do. And it's like, this is the service that you're expecting. So it's like, imagine if all the plumbers in the world quit their job. How difficult it would be for people to try to get better plumbing. Like, if everybody, like, say if your toilet broke, do you know how to fix your toilet? You don't. You pay for somebody who is experienced in that to fix your toilet. So if all the plumbers in the world quit their jobs, we're not going to have any plumbers. We're not going to have anybody to fix our thing, and we're going to have to try to figure it out ourselves. So that's what we're kind of, I think everybody is missing the point that, yeah, not working a job is cool, but we also need those people to live the life that we've all been accustomed to, normal to, because if we don't, then we're all going to have to start doing all the things that we didn't want to do ourselves. And I feel like that's what this whole thing is doing, because it's like when you looked at in the movie, back to the movie, if you looked in the movie, like, everything was going to ruins, like, everybody was living like in a third world country pretty much. And it's like because everybody was so infatuated in trying to get this game going and get the prize in the game, they're missing out on what real life is going on around them and how it's deteriorating. So that's just, yeah, that's what's up for tea. That was long, y'all. This is kind of going to be a long episode, but I kind of am happy about that because I haven't given y'all a long episode in a while. So I'm happy we're just sitting here, we're talking, and we're going through some good stuff. So I appreciate you guys for listening to me. Like I said, like and subscribe to the video. And tell me what you guys think, how I'm doing, okay? So we're going to move on. Like I said, I got some new stuff for y'all. I did a polls on my Instagram. If you follow my Instagram, you are able to interact on the polls. The polls is fun. I made a poll asking some random questions, but I just wanted to see how people were thinking. I don't know. I just wanted to share ideas pretty much, and just get pretty much senses of how people, my followers, pretty much were thinking. So the first poll I asked, I was like, who is more promiscuous? Is it women or is it men? And surprisingly, the fact that the fact that it's like pretty much known that men are more likely to cheat than women. And I'm not saying being a cheater makes you more promiscuous, but I kind of am, because if you are a promiscuous person, and if you're not a promiscuous person, you wouldn't need to have sex with whoever. Like, you wouldn't need to cheat in your relationship and shit. Like, you wouldn't need to sleep around if you weren't a promiscuous person. So the fact that my poll said that women were more promiscuous than men, it's just shocking, because it's like, are we more promiscuous women? We are probably more provocative because of how we dress. Maybe I know I look cute and all that. Maybe I'll wear something a little too tight, or a little, show a little bit more, but I'm at the same time, that don't mean we're more promiscuous just because we dress like that. Being promiscuous means, you down to do the deed. Let me stop. It's the tea, y'all. It's the tea. Anyway, so, moving on to the next poll, I got more people said that women were more promiscuous than men. So whatever. So moving on to the next poll, it's does knowing your partner's body count matter? And I agree with my followers. It doesn't fucking matter. If you're that insecure that it matters, then I just think you need to reevaluate what it is that you're doing, because you really shouldn't be worried about who somebody's been with in the past and all that. Let that be them. Let them have their little connection and all that. And you just worry about what you got going on with them right now. Hang on, y'all. I'm sorry. Yes, sis.
What's up?
Podcasting.
You look really cute. Bye. You look really, really cute, bitch.
Thank you. No, you want to say what's up to the people?
What's up to the people? Okay, well, you have a great podcast. You look really beautiful.
Thank you.
You look really good, girl.
Thank you. I love you. Thank
Okay,
you.
I'm home.
Okay, I'm coming drop the key off. What you eating? I'm hungry too.
Better come on, because it's right now.
Oh, I'll get some food on the way. All right.
I mean, it's supposed to be a hold your rib.
All right.
All right.
Love you. That's my sister. Anyway, moving on, y'all. So it doesn't matter. If you're that insecure, you shouldn't be with who you're with anyway, because if you're stuck on the past, then move it. The past is the past. Move on. It doesn't matter. It happened. It is in the past. So anyway, moving on. Should you date somebody who is unemployed? And my followers pretty much said yes. But some said no as well. Like, it was kind of almost the same. And that's up to you. I don't really want to say yes or no on that situation. Don't do what you want at the end of the day. Like, you can do your human. Hey, if you want to date somebody who is unemployed, that is all up to you. If you don't, then just, I just think money gets in the way of relationships a lot, gets in the way of connections and all this. Like, why does it have to be that a man has to pay for the date when you go on a date? Like, maybe you got this date, he got that date, and y'all just are focused on trying to connect with somebody and not, I spent my money on them and now they, why does it have to be like that? Why can't it just be like, I had a great time with this person? Even though I don't think, I really see anything with us, it was a great time, had a great connection, and probably be a good friend down the line. Why can't it be like that? Why can't we just, focus on the connection we were trying to build and not so much the relationship, and not so much, I'm spending money or I spent money and what I'm going to get because I spent the money. Like, that's also why I don't care to spend, like, to be able to, like, that's why I don't care to offer to pay for a date, because I don't want to be obligated to give you sex at the end of the date. So if I can move around there and be like, you know what, it's not about sex and all that for me. It's about really talking to you and really getting to know you in a different setting. Like, if it's not just like a link up, we just chilling type ordeal. Like, it's more of like we're having an experience together. Because it's like, when you think about it, if that date works out and you're actually with that person, you could think back to your first date like, dang, it was fun going bowling together, babe. Like, that was our first date, like, type-ish, like, or like, oh yeah, like, we had fun going play laser tag or go-karts, like, just little stuff like that. People gotta think about that. I don't know. People don't like to think about that. But anyway, next, the next poll is, listen, if you choose to date someone unemployed, that's your business. But fellas, please don't send a dick pic. Okay, that is out the question. I don't understand. Like, I want y'all, I only say this to say this. When I used to be on dating, like, sites and all that, I used to get about 3 dick pics a day. Like, I don't understand what's with certain, like, why do y'all think that's, like, attractive? Why do y'all think that's, like, we really want to see it? Like, I don't want to see it unless I'm finna do something with it. Like, I don't need to see it beforehand. So it's like, why are you sending me a dick pic? I don't want to see it. Like, it don't look like. I hope I don't get kicked off of YouTube for this. I just don't want to see it. I don't care to see it. I don't care. Like, don't send it to me. Like, and they always be the ones, hey, I gotta show you something. I don't want to see. I block. I block them. But yeah, don't send a dick pic. Like, that's not cute. Like, I get it why y'all want nudes and all that. That makes y'all, that gets y'all excited. What gets us excited? Hey babe, finna pick you up. We finna go get some food. When we get back to the house, I'ma give you a nice back rub and a foot massage, and I got your favorite dessert. Like, oh my God, make me melt. Like, there's some other stuff. There's some real sensual stuff. Like, don't send me a dick pic though. Like, tell me you gonna pay my rent. I'm just saying, like, don't tell me we finna go get ice cream. I'll be awesome. Like, tell me we finna go get, like, I love apple pie and ice cream. Like, tell me we finna go get that. I swear. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's better than sending a dick pic. Like, you could have just told me what you was gonna do, not sent the thing you was gonna do it with. But whatever, we gonna move off of the polls and get into our actual episode, because this is real life stuff, and this is what we're really talking about today. Real life stuff, y'all. I know it's all fun and games in the beginning, but we really get down to what's really important, y'all, and that's trying to grow as a person and as an individual the best way we can, because we're human, we make mistakes, but the best thing that we can do is try to grow and try to move on past the stuff that's been hurting us in the past. And one of the things is generational traumas. Like, I think the best thing to do is, to understand a person, I feel like, is to understand their background, where they come from, what they've been through, the traumas that shaped them, what it is that scares them and all that, the things that they're trying to fight for and achieve in life. So I feel like in order to understand a person is to understand their background. And a lot of our backgrounds are filled with a lot of stuff that shaped us today, but can be pretty toxic as well to continue to have as an adult, because, I get it, the things that we were, exposed to as a child, we probably view now as normal, because probably that's what happens back at the house, and it's been happening, it's happened. My grandma did it, my mama did it, my daddy did it. Like, have you ever heard somebody who said that, like, my mama did it, my daddy did it, my grandma did it? Like, yeah, just because they all did it, does that make it okay? Does that make, like, cheating okay? Like, does that make, like, not having communication skills okay? Does that having anger issues, does that make it okay just because my daddy was a real I'm just saying, and for like people who like try to keep up this generational image that is pretty traumatic, honestly, to some people, can pretty much put a lot of weight on a person. And I just want to try to say that we got to try to break the cycle of it. So I want to, like, a reoccurring, like, a generational thing would be the fact that the older generation thinks that the way you discipline a child is to whoop them. And for a lot of new parents now today, they're like, I don't have to put my hands on my child for them to know that, I can discipline them, and then for them to understand what I'm saying is a law and a rule. Like, I don't have to, like, and I feel like that's one of the things, like, because their parents whooped them, and their parents before them whooped them. So it's like, they grew up that disciplining a child how you discipline a child is by whooping them and showing them pretty much that you're the boss and that this is what's gonna happen. And it's like, that's traumatic for a lot of people. And I know a lot of people who said that, like, getting whoopings was like a lot for them. Like, getting whoopings was very traumatic for them, and they seen that as abuse. And they're like, because I had a cousin who would call the cops on my auntie. I had a cousin who, was who did that, because I don't know why, he would do it to his mom, but maybe he just felt like in that moment, hey, I don't like the fact that she keeps doing this, and I can't communicate to her, she can't communicate to me, and it's just creating this whole big problem, and I need help. We need help. Maybe that was just what he was thinking in that moment. I don't know. But at the same time, it happens. Like, we are so we're so used to just going along with stuff because it's the norm, that we think it's okay. The fact that some guys think, cheating is okay, or they're okay with it, or they make an excuse for it, is because, they've probably been exposed to nothing but just people their parents have been around that they cheated on their parents with. Like, my dad always cheated on my mom, and my mom knew about it, but it's okay because that's just what happened. So they expect relationships to go like that, like it's gonna happen. Like, just because it happens doesn't mean it's okay. Like, you're not supposed to cheat. Like, I don't understand why people I just don't understand why people think that it's okay for men to just cheat. Like, no, have some freaking discipline. Like, have some discipline within yourself to not do that. You have discipline enough to save your money. You got discipline enough to do all the things that you set your mind out to, but you don't have discipline enough to keep your thing in your pants. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Like, people need more discipline in their lives. Like, that's the problem. You lack discipline in that area, and I'm pretty sure it's hard. It's hard, but shoot, teach yourself more discipline and it won't be that hard. I'm just saying, like, why is it that we just are like, it just happens? Like, a woman who is okay with abuse in her relationship, or okay being abused, is probably because she was abused as a child and seen her mother abused as a child. So it's like abused as well. So it's like, this is just what happens. We get hit and we're not supposed to say anything. Like, I've heard women say stuff like that, and it's like, that's why they thought it was okay, because it's like, that's what they were used to. And it's like, just because you were used to it and that's what seemed normal at the time and when we were children, doesn't mean it has to continue on to be a normal thing. And we have to try to really break those things that just because they did it and they did it like gangbangers. Like, just because your grandpa gangbanged, your daddy gangbanged, your cousin gangbanged, don't mean you gotta be a gangbanger. Like, just because that's just what everybody else around you is doing. I get it. Conform to not conform, but adapt to your environment. I get a lot of people had to make choices like that because they just had no, pretty much no choice in the matter. So I get people who do stuff in that sort of sense. But if you have a choice, I say make another choice. Like, people, like, say for instance, like, my uncle is a drug addict. He does hardcore drugs, and he's been homeless since I was a child. And I made a choice to never do any hardcore drug in my life, because I never want my life to end up like him, because I never want to continue down the path that he did. I don't want that to be another thing I bring on to my family and the new generation of my family. I did not want to be like him in any shape or form. That's why I don't, like, when I drink responsibly. I drink around people. I don't get blackout drunk in public, regardless if I'm with people, regardless if I have a DD driver or not. I'm not getting blackout drunk in public, because that's dangerous. Like, people don't realize that stuff that, is other people did was okay, but does it make it okay? Really think about it. Just because other people do it and they did it and it was okay, does it make it okay? Like, just because somebody just because somebody robbed a bank and got away with it, does that make it okay for you to go rob a bank? No, it doesn't. So we gotta really think about that type of stuff. So ways to overcome trauma. I kind of came up with my own little thing, but it's kind of like the 5 stages of grief. But I say the first thing to overcome, like, trauma and to overcome those generational curses that kind of just keep us down a lot, like as an individual, is to one, acknowledge that you are going through that trauma. Acknowledge that you probably have a drinking problem. Acknowledge that you're probably not good with relationships or commitments. Acknowledge that you're probably a dishonest person, or just not just that, but acknowledge that you're probably abusive. Acknowledge that you probably have bad habits. Acknowledge that you probably, take advantage of substance. Acknowledge that you're have a lack of in your communication skills. It's acknowledging that we have a problem, and that we see that it's been a problem for not just you, other people in your family. Then acknowledge that maybe you need to try to get some more understanding and knowledge on it so you can move on. And that's the second part, is seeking help. The worst thing to do is try to go through something by yourself, and the worst thing to do is to try to overcome that thing by yourself as well, because it's going to be hard. It's not easy to just overcome something you've been so used to doing and seen so many other people that you're close with doing and it's been okay with, and people look at you weird if you don't do it and all that. So it's hard to do it by yourself. So the second thing I say you should do is to seek help, and to try to find somebody you can confide in, to try to fix the problem, and to try to at least help the problem and break the cycle, so that it's not an ongoing thing. Because like when you have kids, you don't want this to be a problem that your kids are going through. You don't want your kids to be an alcoholic. You don't want your kids to take to abuse drugs. You don't want your kids to have to find comfort in weird places and all that. You don't want to have to put your children through that, and you don't want to have to put their children through that. So it's just understanding that and trying to break that. So, and the next part of that is changing your habits. Practice. I don't want to say practice makes perfect, but practice makes improvement. Like you probably are not going to be good at it the first time. You're probably going to be shitty at it. Like a person who is so used to doing something for so long, like they say it takes 90 days to be a habit. I'm going to say it's probably going to take you, because you're going to have slip ups. And it's okay to say, you had that slip up, as long as you're not continuing to make the slip up to make it a habit again, because you don't want your slip up to be your habit now. You got to try to fix it and try to make it a habit, and try to fix that habit to fix your habit. You have to make it a habit to try to fix your habit at that point. So it's hard, but you got to put in the work to get the results. So moving on, next is forgiving yourself. I think that's the most important step out of all of them, honestly, because a lot of people will live in their guilt and their shame and not forgive themselves for the traumatic stuff they put themselves through. Like, I remember one time, this is me being really open with y'all. I remember one time I was trying to meet up with a guy. I did not like the circumstances in which I met up with him, because I felt like it was a little strange. But I still met up with him anyway. And when I did, I was uncomfortable the entire time. Like, I was just uncomfortable. And there was nothing wrong. Nothing happened, or no, there was nothing wrong. I was just uncomfortable the entire time. And I was just so upset with myself afterwards. Like, when I left, I was like, why did I go there? Like, that was just weird. Like, I shouldn't even went. Like, I was just so upset at myself for so long, because I'm just like, why did I even put myself in that situation? I don't need to be like doing all this to be hanging out with people. I can hang out with people. Like, I thought I did, like, I caught an Uber, like, all the way, like, 30 minutes outside of town. Like, it was stupid. It was stupid. And I was just like, I even if I called people, they're like, what are you doing all the way out here? Like, I came to chill with some people, and it was fucking dumb. Like, because I'm not doing anything and I'm uncomfortable and they're asking me weird questions to where I pretty much made a plan to like escape and get out, but there was nothing wrong. Like I wasn't putting in any danger at all. Like I'm not saying I wasn't putting in any danger like that, but I just did not like how I felt being there, so I had to make a plan to get out of there. But at the same time, I was upset at myself for even like I did not have to do all of this to go hang out with some people, and I was so upset at myself for a long time that I didn't even want to hang out with people after that. But it's like I can't keep shaming myself for one situation that happened. And I feel like that's a lot of the times that's what we do. We'll shame ourselves if something bad happens, like, oh, my marriage didn't work out, oh, my relationship didn't work out, like, oh, this job didn't work out. We'll shame ourselves and live in guilt and not forgive ourselves for, hey, you know, I messed up. It was dumb, it was stupid, but I gotta move on from this. I gotta say, you know, I did that and I gotta move on. Like a lot of women who, like, I'm pretty much like women who are promiscuous, like hoes in a sort of sense. I know that they don't feel good about the things that they do. Like prostitutes, they don't feel good about prostituting all the time. Like they probably really feel bad that this is what they're doing to themselves. So, but at the same time, you know, they have to accept, you know, that they are in that lifestyle. So they pretty much have to forgive themselves all the time. Like, this is bad, girl, but we got to do it. And that's like that. It takes a strong person to be able to do that, to say, you know, I messed up bad. This was not a good look for me, but I gotta stand 10 toes down on this and try to move past it, because if I don't, it's gonna break you. If you keep holding on to the things that you don't forgive yourself for, it's gonna break you. So, and the second part is to be open. The last part is to be open. Like, I know everybody says this is acceptance, but it's to be open, because you got to be open to new ideas. You got to be open to new thinking, new practices, and changes. You have to be open. If you're not an open person, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to break that habit. If you don't understand that doing different things give you different outcomes, then you're not going to understand that changing a habit is like a different outcome for you. You're going to have a different outcome after you do it. So that's just what I wanted to talk to you guys about. That is the episode. I appreciate you guys for joining me. Oh, that was a long episode, but I love it. Join me for more. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe to the video. Follow me on social media. My Instagram is SMH Podcast 96. My Twitter is SMH Podcast 1. That is the app for it. SMH Podcast one. You can also find me on TikTok. You can find me on Wisdom. I forgot Wisdom in the beginning. You can find me on Wisdom too. I don't be on there much, but you can find me on Wisdom as well too. I be busy, y'all. I'm sorry. You can find me on Facebook, SMH Podcast 96. You can find me on all streaming platforms. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. Please get excited, because we got more to come. But please drive home safely. If you're driving and you're listening to this podcast, I'm gonna drive home safely. I didn't have that much to drink. It was a little sip. It's not even that strong. The twisted teas are really good, actually. There's no hot water in this place, so I can't really drink hot tea, and I really want some. My throat's been a little dry, but anyway, Lord, I hope it's not a Monterey-on. Touch. Anyway, thank y'all for listening. I love you guys. Have a great night, and come back for another episode.
I'm about to walk this motherfucker, man.